Today on Outside the Classroom, we are joined by biology professor Dr. Erin Zimmer. My first question is, why did you want to teach?
Well, I love being on a college campus. And I think one of the things that drew me to teaching was the students. And I can't think of a better place to work. The atmosphere of a university and the optimism of all the students who are just, have the whole world in front of them, and to help in that process. So there's a lot of energy on a university, particularly Lewis, and I think helping students find their way is really what brought me to teaching. Well, if I have time for myself, I like to exercise and do physical activity, whether it be, I don't consider myself a runner, but I enjoy running. I like hot yoga, so I try to do yoga a couple times a week. I do spinning, but I don't have a ton of time for myself, so I'd say my other hobbies are with my kids. I like to go to the museums and the zoo, and Chicago's a great place for it. So there's go to the Museum of Science and Industry and the Shed, and so a lot of our time is spent that way. I would like to say read. I do read and I enjoy reading. I just don't have as much time for that. That is probably a question that my husband would like to answer, because he says my music has changed. My preference for music has changed over time. I used to be more, I'd say, like Dave Matthews Band or more mellow music. But if you look at my iPod right now, you'd probably see Katy Perry and Lady Gaga and Pink, probably a little Rihanna. I don't know. I just like fun, upbeat music. I think I use music for running, or I use music with my kids and we, like dance. So it's probably a little more that popular music right now. Let's see, I love Wedding Crashers or things like that. But I think my favorite movies are the movies that you think about and you can't get it out of your head. So recently, or not even recently, but like Slumdog Millionaire was one of those movies that I couldn't stop thinking about. Even recently with 0-30, I like that movie. Older movies like Shawshank Redemption. I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to movies, so I could name my favorite kids movie too. I like them all, really. Oh, hands down, Modern Family. I love Modern Family. That's like best show on TV. I just started watching Downton Abbey, and I'm probably just finished the first season, but that's a great show. Probably embarrassingly, I still watch some reality shows. Won't list the ones, or shouldn't list the ones that I watch, but I do like a little Amazing Race or Survivor. Those are still good shows. I think that people would be surprised to find out that I am as competitive as I am. And so I may be quietly competitive, but I am. That kind of spills over into my family life. I'm competitive. My whole family, my siblings are very competitive when we get together. Like fun competitive. We have challenges, and I think competition makes people a little better. But I would say it is a little bit of a problem with my kids. I'm always saying, who's the first to get ready, who's next? So I think people might be surprised to find out my competitive nature. I don't like to lose. No, I did not think that I would be teaching, although I'm not surprised that I'm at the university. I loved college, and that was a great time in my life. I loved the atmosphere, like I said earlier. But when I was in school, I liked genetics. I was a biology major. I studied genetics, and I wanted to pursue a career in genetics. So initially, I thought I would be a genetic counselor. And when I went to school, I got into research. So I spent years doing genetic research, which I liked, but I realized I couldn't make a career of that, probably because of the solitude and how lonely research can be on your own, and I needed a more social environment. I didn't take a job in teaching right away. I went to a biotech company, but realized I couldn't make a lifelong career, so I came back to teaching and being on campus and with students, I think that's, for now teaching students to see that you sometimes don't know what you want to do the rest of your life at 20, 22 years old, and that's okay. If you follow what you like, your path will lead you, and that's really kind of what happened as I followed genetics. It led me back to teaching genetics. I can't not be a sports fan. I have 3 sons and a husband, and so I'm the only female in my family, and I have sons who are obsessed with sports. So probably one of the reasons I don't watch too much TV is there's always a sports game on. So do I follow sports? I follow my kids' sports. So they are playing sports all the time, and we're always at a game. But I also follow sports because I realized, particularly this year, that during the football season, that if I wasn't involved with sports, then I would be kind of an outcast in my family. So it was a good year for the Zimmers. We follow Notre Dame football, and so we all know that turned out good. They didn't win, but they made it. And my husband's from California. He's a big 49ers fan, so they're up. Next week. Next week for the Super Bowl. And we also follow. We went to school in Pittsburgh, so Pittsburgh Steelers. But really, if it's not football, we'll soon move into basketball, and sports are a big part of my family's life. Oh, my favorite vacation spot would have to be Sea Island, Georgia. It's beautiful there. We do go every year. It's a little bit of, heaven on earth. It's right off the coast, and so the ocean's right there. It's a different vegetation down south, different culture down south, so we love Sea Island. But I'm also from Michigan, and so we try to make up to northern Michigan, so it's a little nostalgic for me. That's where I grew up vacationing, and my kids now vacation, and we do a lot of outdoor activities, kayaking on the dunes, and playing in Lake Michigan. So I'd say kind of both Sea Island and Upper Michigan.